What's up, you filthy flapjacks? My name's Wes Mullenberg, and you're listening to the Ear Coffee Podcast. For the first interview of the year and decade, I talked with Fox Theory. The band recently put out a great EP, River Kids, and they talked about how it came together from a solo project, what their new music is going to sound like, and a bunch more. Here's my interview with Jack Ed Harris of... All right. Welcome to the latest episode of the Ear Coffee Podcast. My name is Wes, and today I'm joined by two-thirds of the band Fox Theory. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves and just say what you play in the band? What's your role?
My name is Jack. I play guitar and do vocals.
Hi, I'm Harris. I play drums.
But for pretty much every interview I do with bands that haven't gotten coverage, haven't done other interviews or anything, I like just finding out where people's roots kind of where they started.
Sure.
So how did you first connect with just music in general, and what made you want to play in a band? Because usually it's been like people were kids when they first like kind of connected and like they wanted to play in a band, and then maybe they didn't get to do it for like 10 years or something, or for however long. So I'm interested to hear if either of you had like that kind of experience where you've just always wanted to play in a band, or whatever the deal is.
That's pretty much perfectly describes my situation. I started producing like hip hop music when I was like 13.
Oh, sweet.
And then I met a bunch of like, rappers through high school and just friends. That's what we did together, was made music. And I'm just, young, torrenting FL Studio and making hip hop beats. Oh, dang it, that's on the record now. Yeah, and I did that for a long time. I even lived in like a house with like 6 other artists last year. And then I started picking up the guitar more maybe 2 years ago, just playing like super blues solo stuff. I didn't even know a chord like a year ago. So I was doing this kind of post-hardcore band thing, and we joined this practice space, which Harris's other band was in. And then that didn't work out, and then 2 of us were like, we still want to do a band. Let's just ask Nathaniel and Harris. Nathaniel's our bass player. If they would, join and start something more with my solo stuff. Mm-hmm. So everything that's on the EP was once just like a solo song of mine. And then when I met these guys, we kind of like brought it to life and then put out this EP. So for me, these songs are like super old, but, that's why the dynamic's kind of changing now is,
sure.
Harris and Nathaniel are more involved in the newer stuff we're writing, since the older stuff was pretty much already set in stone. But yeah, I've been doing it for a long time, and audio engineering too. I record a lot of bands around here and stuff. Sweet. So yeah.
Yeah, and I started playing drums when I was 6 years old, and I went to a bunch of different programs, but the one that I attribute most of my success with was School of Rock, which I met a large number of talented musicians, including the Hippocampus Boys.
Oh, for real?
Grew up together. And a couple other people, like the drummer for old drummer for Remo Drive.
Oh, Sam.
Yeah, Sam Mathias.
Cosmic Bingo, whatever his new thing is.
Yeah. And guys in Happy Children and all those.
Oh,
so
for real?
It's it's been fun. I feel like this is probably like 13th, 14th band I've been in.
Yeah.
It's
respect.
I mean, you're in 2 or 3.
I'm in 3 right now.
He's in 3 right now.
And then I have probably like 4 or 5 other side projects.
And we all do
like
solo
music.
stuff too.
Yeah, all of us. And this is also like my 5th practice studio.
Yep.
I'm at. So Jack joined recently.
It's been
last
a year.
Yeah. I can't believe I've been there for 2 years now. But we've decorated it, made it fun. But yeah, we just ask musicians to come and jam with us all the time, and then it manifests into something. So
sweet.
Yeah.
So
really
with the solo stuff, and we can probably get a little bit more into this later.
Sure.
Why did you not want to put it out as it was, just kind of as your personal thing, and like what led you to bring the other guys on and make it a trio and have them kind of be just part of the, instead of just like releasing what you had and then joining with them and then releasing and recording stuff
Mhm.
as the trio, which like it sounds like what you're now doing.
Yeah. Basically, rock music isn't fun to play with you just playing guitar and a backing track with drums and bass.
Yeah, for playing live.
There's
okay.
no way I'd be able to pull that off at somewhere like Row House like
Yeah.
last night. It's just not as...
Got like the Ed
It's
Sheeran
not
like loop
ideal.
pedal shit or something.
Well, yeah, what I was doing was like this weird blend. Like even in January of last year, I played. This is like the last solo show I played. At Cadence, I had a guitar, an amp, and then backing track for a lot of the rest of the stuff. I even did play some of these songs, and it doesn't feel as cool. I had never been in a band before. I was always a solo artist or producer mostly, but yeah, it brings them to life. Like that's what made me so happy when we started practicing together. Is like, oh, these are ideas I just had and MIDI drums I had, and now we're bringing it to
Making them sound live.
yeah. So basically, it would be very hard to pull that off, like the level of what I wanted to do, without a band. So I knew Nathaniel and Harris were really good. And they're in the space, so it was
Yeah.
convenient. And
Yeah, so he folded.
Yep. So we asked them, but yeah, and yeah, I just wasn't sure about my guitar playing and all that. I mean, even on this EP, I didn't really know what I was doing. I still don't know what I'm doing to an extent.
Does anyone know?
I don't know like much music theory or anything, so that's why it's nice to have these guys to kind of help polish it now.
Yeah, we'll be in practice and we'll be like, do that da 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 thing. And
That's how we
we'll know
talk.
exactly what
formal.
we're talking about.
Yeah. So-
Develop like a lingo, yeah.
We could
Yeah.
be like A minor 7th chord.
Yep, there you go. Long story short, it's not as fun, and through a DIY basement PA system, there's no way those backing tracks are gonna come
Very
through
true.
if I just have the guitar up there. It's not as much fun.
So do you and Nathaniel have more of like a traditional background, like with like theory or something? Like-
Nathaniel actually started playing music recently as well. Within a couple years max. Yeah, I actually was in a band with Jacob Miller, who's an extraordinary guitarist, and he's been playing for 5 years now, and it's nuts how quick he got and picked it up. But basically, me and Miller had this project together, and we were one of the first two original members of this space. He joined a little bit after, and then we were auditioning bass players and we were auditioning vocalists. At the same time, we had a lot of material and we were just showing it to a bunch of people. And there were a lot of people that came through. And Nathaniel was one that stuck out because we had a lot of great bassists that would just play the lines and just like they'd be yawning while they played it. You know, it was boring. They were boring. And we were like, okay, well, they're great, but not the energy we want. Nathaniel was just like, had dreams right away. He was just like, we could do this, we could do that. And he was like, would learn the material and did it right.
Yeah.
And was also just very willing to show up and play the material and fun to hang out with. And
Yeah.
so we were actually in a band, and then Jack joined later when we were looking for more people, and that's kind of how it all connected.
Join the practice space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, because we had that 3-piece post-hardcore thing, and then that kind of fell apart instantly. And I stayed in the space, even though I wasn't in a band anymore, because I just was trying to learn drums.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then eventually I'm like, oh yeah, why don't I just ask the people that I'm sharing this practice space with to start
Out
a
of
band?
convenience and out of
Yeah.
just natural bond.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was really cool. I'm glad they joined.
Yeah. So it sounds like you might have more of this, but did you have connections with like the DIY scene outside of just like the space, like with just like the house show circuit and like other people in
did,
it
yeah.
beforehand? Okay.
Um,
From like more production stuff, at least with like with the more rock side of
Yeah.
things, because you worked with a lot of rappers, you said. Yeah.
Right, yeah. So, I mean, we would do house shows too, like what's now Fat Earth used to be called Tammy's Rockatorium. That's where we had some shows, and there'd be a blend of like rappers and bands sometimes. But yeah, I mean, I'm basically what happened that kind of reintroduced this is I completely got out of the DIY scene and was not going to any shows or anything. I met a new group of people who that was their thing, and I was like, oh, I forgot about all this. And then I went to more shows last January, February, and then I think the end of February is when Fox Theory started practicing of this year. So, yeah, I met them and I went out to shows, and I'm like, I want to do that. I could be playing these shows. And so I hit them up to start it, and we started practicing. I worked with Lapdogs too. I met them
Okay.
right away. and helped mix a little on their project and master it. I've been working with Shattercones.
Lapdogs is awesome.
Lapdogs is awesome.
Is so
For sure.
cool.
Shattercones, Alien Book Club, Marie Finch.
Oh, yeah.
I got to meet all them and then just start working with them. So I'm recording Marie Finch's EP right now. It's really
sick.
fun. Yeah.
It's really sick.
So I did have some connections. I was just very involved at the beginning of this year, like going to every show, like 3 a weekend or something, and just kind of getting my feet wet again. And then I was like, I could do this. I want to do this. And then that's how it started.
Sweet. And what about you? Just between the other bands you are, like what bands are those? I guess I might as well ask now.
What bands am I affiliated with? Or
Yeah,
just
like the ones that you're playing. You have,
connections
you have like
with?
3 active ones right now.
Yeah, so
Even if they don't have like recorded stuff.
Plaster
obviously.
Rabbit was going strong for 2 years. And then we recently made some changes because our lead singer kind of went AWOL. And so now we're a 3-piece, and we changed our name to Majula, and we have a lot of really, really cool material coming out very soon. We have a show February 7th or 8th somewhere, but I don't remember for the life of me where it's at. But yeah, we're going to kind of try and do some new stuff for the next year, and 2020 is going to be our year for that. We're really excited for it. But then I'm in another project with this guy Gordon and this bass player that's really good. We've just been starting right now, and then other than that, I've worked with quite a few individuals on my solo stuff.
Yeah.
Like there's a number of people that just swing through for 20-30 minutes just to lay down a track for me. Just because I ask them. But yeah, like, yeah, I don't know. Just,
As far as like the DIY scene, I'd probably say not for you. Like the one that we play in, the Fox Theory.
what do you mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of like a different
like the indie
group of
punk,
people.
like that
yeah.
kind of scene.
than you guys,
like
because like you
people that like are playing
see-
Row House every weekend.
Right, yeah. Those bands, I'd say more like that's more like a Fox Theory thing. Because
Yeah.
I think every time I see you, like any of his other bands, it would be somewhere more like a traditional venue.
I mean, sometimes we always thought of our like Plaster Rabbit. We always thought that was more of a house show band.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Again,
the stuff's really
more
good.
of a festival type. That's why we played at this festival out in Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah.
It's called Driftmore
Okay. I think,
Music and Arts
I feel
Festival.
like I've heard of that. Yeah.
It's ridiculous, and we had no idea how big it was when we went out and played there. But it was like it started raining during our set, and we had tents for like where the music was, and everybody had to go under our tent, and it was muddy, and we were kind of on drugs, and we were like we were just like kind of going AWOL, but it was probably one of the greatest shows we've ever played. And there was, it was packed, but very house show vibe, same vibe of people that we saw last night come through, which last night was an awesome show.
Yeah, that was their EP
Yeah.
release show for anyone listening. Because the EP it came out 2 weeks ago, I think.
Yeah, last Sunday, 15th.
Yeah,
Mhm.
last
Yep.
week. Because it's confusing when we have an album like well in advance and like, oh, I guess it's actually
yeah.
out now. Huh.
Yeah.
Might as well like actually stream it and like actually download it now and whatnot. Turning kind of just to the songwriting for the project, where do you kind of like, especially since you were just starting on guitar, where did a lot of your inspiration from and kind of just the ideas initially, like especially for like the sonic and like the instrumentation,
Yep.
and how, did it change a lot besides just the obvious transition from like drum machines to live instrumentation and whatnot with the other guys joining the band? How did that kind of change? Just kind of just go into that. Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
How you made the EP.
Yeah. So a lot of these were, demos that were already done. I'd retracked them. We changed the tempos once we saw what they sounded like in person. Let's see if I can start from the first one. At the beginning, when I asked Nathaniel Harris to join, I said I wanted to do something like Mom Jeans, Remo Drive, something in that vein. And that has changed a little bit because we're kind of going more towards a traditional kind of, I don't want to say Midwest emo. There's elements of it a lot.
Okay.
A little bit more tapping, different
A little more
tunings
tapping, yeah, I was gonna
and
say.
stuff like that. So it's going to get a little more like heavier, if I can use that word. Like I wanted to start with like Kareen, that's why we put that song out first, because
Mm-hmm.
that was the closest to what we're going towards, I think,
Okay.
in the future. I mean, you've heard the EP. It's a little more poppy.
For
like
sure.
it's got a lot of synth elements
Yeah.
all over. So kind of taking it more in a traditional, like, you know, more, I would say Midwest emo,
Okay.
something like that in the future.
Yeah, as far as genre is concerned, we might as well just put that.
Yeah,
on
like
it.
I want
Yeah.
to. I want to take my chorus pedal off my pedal board at some point. So I mean,
So indie.
yeah. So
Yeah.
the songs
let it
are
off
super
like
fun to
forever.
play. They're great, and I thought we just put this out because we will be playing these songs for a bit longer.
Mhm.
But yeah, moving forward, it's going to get a little bit more,
Midwest
more
emo,
Midwest emo.
Well, it's
and-
almost like an interim release, just like, hey,
Yeah.
listen to the songs before you come to the show because we
right?
we
Yeah,
have
I
them
mean,
done.
people enjoy them,
Yeah.
and
It's a good EP, yeah.
that have seen us, and thank you, and you know, people who I've shown way before a year ago when they were demos and stuff, like, this is cool, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm being selfish if I withhold these and we can finish them and put them out and have something out,
Yeah.
you know, let's do it. And if people like it, I love that. But it's definitely to go in more of a darker, like, instrumentation
Okay.
direction. And then with the lyrics, that's why Kareen was my first choice for a single, is that's kind of more what I'm going towards. The serious stuff I kind of withhold for my solo music usually.
Mhm.
So with the first track, like River Kids or Waste My Time, or Waste Time, those ones are more like serious lyrics, and I kind of
Mhm.
want to stray away from that too and do something more like Kareen for Fox Theory.
Just kind of like loose and
Kind of just
almost
like
mystical a little bit.
mystical, nonsensical, you
Yeah.
know, and then reserve the serious stuff for my solo stuff, because I don't want it to be like woe is me emo music. I kind of want it to
Yeah.
just be more fun and nonsensical.
for sure.
So that's where I see it going. I'm also
Mhm.
getting more input from Harrison Nathaniel now that I'm not making everything
Mhm.
myself. I'll generally make a whole song in my head, bring it to them, and then we'll make some
Kinda
changes.
just
Right, we
jam
can
it out.
just destroy it right away.
destroy
You don't
it.
even
We
need
have-
to tell us what to do. You just start playing.
There's
then
a
we just hop
couple
on.
songs that didn't make the EP. We actually played.
Mhm.
We got asked for an encore last night. That was cool.
Yeah, that was
We
fun.
played a really old one for that, because that's the thing when we go to shows. I'm like, do we have another song? 'Cause
Yeah. No,
our
we
songs
do.
are short.
Yeah, like
And-
the longest one on the EP is like 3 minutes
Yeah.
almost.
Mhm.
I'd rather. It's always been this way, even when I made beats and stuff. I'd rather make like a short, cool thing and then just be done. Because sometimes when I'm seeing bands and it's like 5-6 minutes and it's kind of just the same thing over and over,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man. So I'd rather get a lot of cool short ideas out than try to force myself to expand on it, and then it
Mhm.
gets boring. So that's how that's probably not changing very much, but we'll just have
Mhm.
more of them.
Yeah, and just have like a different sonic elements. Kind
Right.
Of talk about.
Yeah.
Right, but yeah, now you're kind of like bringing the material more to us.
Yes.
And you know, me and Nathaniel will probably suggest some
Mhm.
like different things. I'll throw a groove and be like, "Can you do something over that for a second?"
Right.
Mhm.
Throw in like a different time signature, make it more mathy, like 7 or something. But yeah, no, it's funny because basically you just brought the material to me, and I just kind of like quickly decided what I wanted to do right away because I felt it out, and then I tracked the whole EP in one day.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Well,
for like an hour or two.
because this really started as, and this is what's going to change pretty big, is it started as like almost like a Jack Daly and the like, you know, it was my stuff, and
Yeah.
I was like, play it this way, this is how I have it
Mhm.
for
Kind of masterminding it.
yeah, most of the EP, and now it's going to be more of a traditional kind of band dynamic where everyone's more involved.
Mhm.
So I mean, in terms of songwriting, usually, you know, the guitarist's going to come up with the thing first and go from there. But in terms of me saying, hey, I made these MIDI drums, play it exactly like this, like we did at the beginning.
Yeah, you did that a lot.
Yep.
I didn't like that.
So, yeah, so, you know, I was always scared only being a solo person to let anyone else have input, especially mixing my own stuff forever.
Mhm.
Like, I was like, this is how it is and this is how we're doing it. I definitely want to get away from that a little bit more because, you know, if you lend other people stuff, they can come up, different set of ears on it, can come up with a cooler, better idea
Yeah,
sometimes.
that you might not like expect to be better, but
Exactly.
then once you hear it, it's like, oh,
Yeah,
right,
we
well,
add-
it's also about like the individual people like being happy with what they're playing.
Exactly.
You know? It's the
Mhm.
number
Yeah.
one thing, and you get more passionate about it if you
Exactly.
create it, and
absolutely,
you're way more capable of playing it,
for sure.
For
like
sure, yeah.
executing it well live, which is, you know, the whole point. So.
Yeah. Like last night, yeah, we played a couple new ones
Mhm.
that we've all had a lot more input on, and it's so much
Just
fun.
the vibes just completely
Yeah,
different.
it is. It really is.
Yeah, the crowd last night was so cool, and they were
They
just
were.
Yeah.
We appreciate that.
the energy was awesome.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of
Shout out all house
Yes.
show crowds.
Thank you, Row House, again.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
Michael.
you
Love Row
specifically. I saw you there. You were great.
One thing that kind of at least stuck out to me beyond just the overall kind of like EP itself is like the little intro for the title track, where like the spoken word about Fox, and then there's
Yeah.
like the little bit like some of the synthy elements that you mentioned, especially that show up on the intro and the outro of The Waters.
Yeah.
Those tracks, just like at least those parts of those tracks, feel different from the rest of it. Why include that, especially with the intro and like having like this like ambient, like very ethereal,
Yeah.
introduction to the entire thing, and then like segues into the rest of the song, which is more in line with like the rest of the EP, just like,
Yeah.
like an indie rock kind of very energetic guitar driven song.
I love when things are like just come super left, like out of nowhere, like switch ups in songs. And the idea with including the intro and outro there is during our set, we tried a couple times. We're not going to probably do it anymore, but I'd bring my laptop and we'd have like things to play while we tune or something,
Yeah.
something to be playing, some sort of ambient noise that's in the same key as the song we're
Yeah,
about to
like
play.
like an interlude kind of deal.
Right, and we opened with that twice at our shows. The Foxes are whatever
Yeah,
thing,
spoken word.
and so
Narration.
I found that clip on like BBC or something.
Yeah.
And I hope I was thinking about like royalties and stuff. They're not gonna find me, but we played that at the beginning, and it's just kind of like, I don't know, we're weird. I don't want to say weird guys, but we have a
weird guys.
Yeah, we have a strange sense of humor, and like that's just funny to me. Like the
very
Foxes
odd.
thing. Yeah,
And
like
people just were kind of like more off put by it than.
I like that. Like
Yeah.
I like the what?
We try to limit the amount of time we talk during shows now, 'cause it just goes downhill.
It does. It goes fast because
Yeah.
I started doing like at the other Row House show. I did like a Jesse Ventura impression, and it just gets. I know it gets like I can't stop it though because that's like what
Yeah.
This is who we are. We're just like kind of strange, funny guys, but
Strange.
more strange. But the
fun is
intro,
subjective.
yeah, the intro there. That song we had cut the intro with just the guitar. It was like do 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 do, and we had cut it a long time ago. So it just started off right away, and I was like, we can't just do that. So I included a voice memo of you going 1, 2, 3, 4 from practice into it, and then I put that there almost like for some padding.
It's like a placeholder kind of.
Yeah, and plus to stretch out the time a little bit because at least over 11 minutes would be great. So
got to 12.
yeah, not quite, but yeah, I just thought it was funny,
Honestly, that-
basically.
Yeah.
I just thought it was funny.
Are you going to incorporate more like the kind of like, even if it isn't humorous, like the synth, the ambient elements with the new stuff?
No.
Even not at all. Okay.
Not at all. No.
Fair enough.
No, it's going to be more traditional sounding.
Okay.
More like jank.
Yeah.
Where it's
but we-
very
Okay.
specific, intentional, few instruments.
Yeah, we like Jank a lot, and then I had like Remo Drive. They're probably the reason like that I saw their video pop up on like the algorithm on YouTube got me.
Yeah.
And I had no idea they were from Minnesota or anything.
You're killing me. You're
Oh,
the
yeah.
first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Eric Paulson, the lead singer of Remo Drive, actually recorded my album with
Yeah.
Northern Exposure at McNally Smith.
Yeah.
RIP.
Oh, word.
That's true, yeah.
R.I.P. McNally. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. So like I just want it to be more traditional like that. I do love some of the synth elements on here, and I'm glad we got these songs out for sure. And I'm glad people have been enjoying them. It's been awesome. But I would say Bicycle and Kareen are more the two kinds of
Yeah.
song. It'll kind of be like that, but a little bit
More
heavier,
Midwesty.
yeah.
Yeah. a little
Right,
heavier.
and
Okay.
people were even, the cool thing is that people were even asking that we played Korean
Yeah.
last night. They're like, when are you
That
going
was-
to play Korean?
Play the single.
That was really
It's the
cool.
one I know.
And that was the idea with that's why we kept the video so simple for that too, is
Yeah.
because I just wanted everyone to see us.
Right.
That was more of like a, this is what we look like, this is what we do kind of thing.
Right, and
But we're-
Tyler's on the EP too still. And
Right. Yeah, we should probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tyler
Tyler
was.
was a huge part of it.
Yeah, Tyler was a big part of the EP as well, but
What was his role?
he's not in it anymore.
He was a second guitarist.
He was a
Second-
second
okay.
guitarist.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just kind of like a moving forward thing. We wouldn't need two guitarists because we won't need lead parts as much if I'm doing more of like the like twangly stuff in between and all that.
Yeah.
And now I'm messing with different tunings.
Mhm.
I'm messing with, capo, all that. So,
Yeah.
and I never did that before because I was barely even comfortable playing a C chord. So,
Tyler's really good though.
Tyler's very
I
good.
grew
Cool.
up with Tyler.
Same,
He
yeah.
was also a child musician,
Yes.
so he was like, he's really like
Yeah,
got
cool.
it down. He's
Yeah,
working with Miller now from
yeah.
Oh.
my other band. That we're
Yeah.
in, so.
I met him in 6th grade. We've been friends forever. We're still great friends.
Yeah.
There was, it was hard for sure, but it was just, we, talked and it was like, I think we
Like an
both
economy of value.
he needs to be a
almost.
lead for sure. He has like
Mhm.
lead potential. He has so
Yeah,
many
they wrote a
playing.
song like
Yes.
him and Miller, and it's so
Yeah,
good.
he has
And
so many
they're-
ideas,
yeah.
and we kind of just have different styles
Mhm.
about
Yeah.
going about things. We've worked together on music for
Just other stuff.
so long. We made beats together and projects, EPs. But I kind of was just like, this is where we're going moving forward,
Mhm.
and once we
Yeah.
phase these songs out of our set, there won't be any like lead parts to play. And I was kind of like feeling really bad rejecting his ideas for certain
Mhm.
things. I was like, oh, and kind of both just talked and was like, yeah, I think you would have had a project a lot better and get more out of it for you. You'd be
Yeah.
happier. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where we approached it. But I mean,
Mhm.
we're still great friends.
Yeah.
Love him to death.
Mhm.
appreciate
And he's
that.
still in the studio
And he's still
too.
in the space,
Yeah,
too.
Oh,
he's
yeah,
in
of
the
course.
space with us, and he's in the video.
He's in the
for
video.
the- for the single, and then
Yes.
he's on the EP.
And he's on the EP
So
playing
he's
some
actually
parts. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's always interesting to hear.
Tyler Schultz.
Tyler Schultz. Stay tuned for more from him.
I don't know what his new band is called yet.
I don't know.
Or
Jacob
also-
Miller and Tyler Schultz, the
Yes.
Make Music.
There'll
or
be
something.
something.
There'll be
It'll
something.
pop up on Instagram. In
He
like
still makes
6
great
months.
solo music too. He has a
Yeah.
bunch of great solo music on
Yeah.
SoundCloud. So.
Yeah, yeah.
Sweet. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just for recording the EP, was that all you? Because you mentioned like,
His
having a little bit of
house.
experience
Yeah.
just in
Yeah.
your space. Okay.
We do have the equipment in our space.
Yeah, we have
And
the equipment there too.
We have huge monitors.
Yes,
in our
we will be.
space.
We will be tracking like more. It's gonna sound a lot more live. I should
Because
say
it will be.
Because it will
yeah,
be.
for sure.
I use the electronic drum set.
We
for
use
the
an
Oh.
electronic
EP.
drum set for this EP
Interesting. Yeah.
because
MIDI. It's
mostly
easier to-
because of time.
Okay.
To get because for me again these songs are coming up on like 2 years old.
Yeah.
So I'm like let's get these
Speed it
Get them
out.
in, get them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
pump it out.
and plus we need new overhead mics.
Yeah.
So
And we're gonna split that because
Yeah, we're gonna split that up.
broke.
So,
Musicians donate.
Yeah.
we tracked the
You mean you don't have that much house show money? Come on.
no we don't.
We actually just last night
Yeah.
all the money we
Gave it to the touring
gave it to the
bands
touring
because-
bands. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Gotta
they're on
get to
tour.
the back
That's what
to
you gotta
Chicago.
do. They gotta get home.
Man,
Plus
respect
splitting
for
it
that.
5 ways, that's not
Yeah.
it's not worth it.
Well,
But
yeah.
I would track basically reamp my guitar through
Mhm.
Guitar Rig, like a DI thing on my computer, and then bass was tracked DI to my computer, vocals at my house, drums at my house.
Direct input.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything at the house. And I thought it would work better for this sound because it makes it sound more poppy, like
Yeah.
with the with those
It's very
drums.
immediate,
So
yeah.
it fits here, but it probably wouldn't fit putting them on top of the newer stuff. So
No, not with just what you described.
yeah,
And it's
Yeah.
gonna have to be the thing that's cool with live tracking is you got to get it one take,
Mhm.
and that's more fun for me in my opinion. Because with the MIDI drums, it's like I'd play it once, it would be okay, and it's like, well, it's MIDI, you can move the individual
Yeah.
notes around or quantize it,
Mhm.
which means you get it perfectly
Yeah,
on
you
time.
just kind of
Yeah.
comp it, kind of edit it. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
yeah, you get some problems trying to quantize with overheads.
For sure.
So that's why I was able to pump it all out in like a couple hours, and
Yeah.
not really worry too much about it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it definitely fit for this, but moving forward, I'm not gonna mix our stuff. We're gonna be working with this engineer named Jake Checkaway,
Okay.
and in Massachusetts, and
Oh,
we'll
word.
record it ourselves and then get him
Send
over
it
this
in,
stuff.
yeah.
That's the way to go, man.
It's the way to
Yeah.
go. So yeah,
Massachusetts, of
Yeah.
all places.
yeah,
That's
he,
the place.
he-
Massachusetts. Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, we recorded it all at my house. Yes,
Mhm.
yeah.
Mm.
Cool. How do you get connected with the guy from Massachusetts for the forthcoming stuff?
He worked with the guy Matt Koreckis from Citizen. His solo
Okay.
stuff. He worked
Mhm.
with Jank. He worked with Marietta. He worked with a
Oh.
lot of other like Philadelphia title fight like type bands.
Oh yeah, shoot.
And
Is he just gonna mix it? Or is he
He's
gonna
just
mix
mixing.
it?
He's just
So
mixing
who's
it.
mastering?
he's mastering it too. I should
Oh,
Mixing
so
it,
he is
yeah.
mastering it too.
Yeah, it's like
Okay.
a little bit extra money, but whatever.
Getting the right people to do the right
I
job
like
is
I
important.
like he has a very that's why I always was so like specific about the mixing, is because I like it a certain way.
Yeah.
And usually it's like drums are a little bit louder and have more presence, and you know, everything just smacks. The guitar is really wide and it's left right pan perfectly, and he does that very well, and it's the closest. It's what I wish I could do.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all
just
right, I'm
with
just
the
going to give
different
it to
equipment
him.
level and just
Yeah.
a different ear
Right.
even.
And he doesn't charge that much. So I'm like, this first one. Well, yeah, this first one we're gonna send him. We're gonna film a video for too. That's gonna be really fun. And he just has a really good ear for it, and he's been really good about emailing. He's like, do you need help if you're recording drums? Do you need help like setting the overheads? Like I can show you over like video,
Like Skype or
like
something,
where I
yeah.
can. I'm
we
like,
should
dude, that's
just
so nice.
We should just take that. Yeah.
Yeah,
if we
I'll
could,
ask him.
because
Yeah, any help we
What are
can
your
get.
inputs? Yeah.
Not
So-
like we don't know how to mic things at this point. That's probably the only thing we know how to do.
Yeah, but yeah, he's been a huge help. I mean, he's very like, hey, you have this, stems done yet? How are you guys doing so far? Because I made the mistake, and I hate when people do this to me, but I emailed him way too early
No.
before anything was done,
Yeah.
just trying to see like how much, if it would even be possible, and it totally was doable. So I'm like, oh, now we have to actually record the song.
Now we have to buy the overhead mic.
Yeah, so yeah, we'll be working with him. It'll give us more of that sound we're looking
Yeah.
for in the bands we look up to.
Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit about the new song that you
Yeah.
recorded, that you are going to record?
Yeah, we've recorded vocals.
There's 2 new ones.
There's 2 new ones, but the one we're gonna put out hopefully at the end of January or early February, guitar and bass and vocals are done. Everything, those 3 are done as of like a couple days ago, and then we just got to do drums once we get the new overhead mics in. So once we do that, sending that off to Jake, and I don't know how long that'll take, no big deal. And then in the meantime, filming a video for that,
The video.
which is a little bit more effort than the other one. We really just had to walk around Dinky Town in the last one and throw a filter on it. So, yeah, this video is going to be a lot funnier. We have there's like a skit thing at the beginning that's playing, and then just wanted to make it more interesting.
Yeah. Put a little bit
And,
more
yeah.
effort into it, for lack of a better word or way. Better way of
Right,
putting
yeah.
it.
I mean, I told Jenny, who's filmed a lot of my music videos over the years, just follow us around for a couple hours while we go skate around.
Straight
Dinky
up
Town.
run and gun style.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what
Guerrilla video making.
that's what she did. So that was fun though, because I just wanted to put like a face to the name kind of thing there.
For sure.
And I think it works for that song.
Yeah.
But the new one's going to be more intricate. I'm trying to think of how much detail I want to give away about the video.
And no pressure to
Yeah.
spoil anything. Just let people, because this will be coming out in advance of that. It's like
Oh yeah,
just a little bit in advance.
yeah, it's a concept instead of us just walking around. So it's something still like light, but it's nothing crazy.
Yeah. So stay tuned for that, or
Yeah.
late January, early.
We don't have a
February.
name for that song yet.
Yeah.
I haven't chosen it, but I based it off of a video called "This House Has People in It" by Alan Resnick.
Okay.
It was like an Adult Swim short.
Yeah.
He so more nonsensical lyrics.
Yeah. Such
Better.
with the Adult Swim vibe. Yeah.
Yes, it's definitely more in like the vocal style I'm trying to do as well. The guitar too,
Yeah.
same thing.
Cool. Since you've only at least been playing in the scene for in the Fox Theory capacity for 6 months.
Yep.
Has your experience been pretty consistent? Has it changed at all? At least have your perceptions changed, especially as you're going in a different sonic direction, different concept for the new stuff? Has that affected just how I guess even who you're playing with, if you have any say in that? I guess just how have things changed? How
lot of
things
the-
changed over the past 7 months?
Yeah,
A lot of the shows that we played with we found 1 or 2 bands that we kind of latch onto because
Yeah.
we like playing with them. We find it goes really well.
Lapdogs.
Lapdogs.
We
they're
played
awesome.
our first 4 or 5
Check out-
shows with them.
Check out Lapdogs.
For sure.
Yeah. But I feel like the number one thing that works with that is that the audience they all like the same stuff too.
Yeah.
So it really works well. Last night we played with part of my old band, which was
Okay.
recorded by Eric Paulson. That band was called Northern Exposure, and the lead singer Seamus lives in Chicago now. He came to tour here to play with his new band, Disaster Kid, which I'm wearing their shirt right now.
Repping it, yeah.
They were awesome. They were awesome.
They were great.
And they weren't anything like our sound, but it worked really, really well.
Sweet.
And that vibe that you were talking about earlier, the of the audience, it's like, it's not that I'm not used to it. It's just that it seems like it was really packed and like small ceilings, and I have anxiety.
Yeah,
so that's like
it gets intense, especially if you're a taller person, and then there's like the venting on top, and like you can't.
Dude,
even,
I couldn't stand on the other side, so I felt bad for Dez last night because he's
really tall.
taller and he's like playing bass
Yeah.
like hunched over. But as far as it changing, our first show was like insane too. Our
was ridiculous.
no one knew the songs. People were going crazy. There's a video of it on our YouTube of us playing The Waters and Wasting Time before those even came out. And people like were very like the Wave Mania House is the group of people I met in January.
Oh,
So I was there all the time, even not for shows. Sam is the owner. He's my good friend. And, you know, they were so much fun to watch grow. It was Loneliest Ways at the time. Now they're Floodwater Angel.
Yeah, we were at their gig last night.
Oh, really? Yeah,
At
we
Wave
were.
Mania.
I became friends with Maddie, and you know, I watched them. That's the night I met them. Is their first show. They had like a soft opening for friends, and I didn't know any of them, and I just got invited there, and I saw that, and then seeing them grow, and you know, I was like, okay, let's get this Fox Theory thing practicing for about 4 months. Play our first show in June, and we played it there, and everyone was so excited to finally hear it and all that, and yeah, without me meeting those people, there probably wouldn't have been a Fox Theory. But as far as it changing, not really. The first show was, it just kind of depends where you're playing though, because we've played at
Depends
all
on
the
the
time.
venue,
Places.
depends on the people.
Venue
Yeah.
is the most important thing.
Yeah, the Terminal Bar we played there, like everyone's mannequins. Like you never know what's gonna happen because, like last night, I'm getting smacked in the face with my microphone because people are running and falling, and
And that's what we want. That's what we like.
that's a
For
big
sure.
a big reason with the EP too. It's the way it is because I was trying to make it so I was thinking of them in terms of like a house show instead of actual like songs. I was like, all right, what can get the people going, and that's why a lot of those songs are like that. Like usually when we play the intro song, like the River Kids thing, people start going crazy immediately. But yeah, it's everyone's been insanely nice, like receptive, you know, messaging, buying merch, all that. Just been super supportive of everyone, and I've met so many cool people and gotten so many cool opportunities through it. So it's definitely getting like better. It just never stops getting better.
just-
So
it keeps on growing.
Yeah.
And just as the more people you work with, more people you
exactly,
play with. And meet.
yeah. But I feel like with the new music, it's going to be a lot cooler too once that starts coming out.
Yeah, really
and
get
more videos.
the energy, yeah.
yeah, it's going to be fun.
It's dope. Yeah. That's the end of like the more serious questions.
Okay.
So the next one is just, you kind of already touched on this a little bit, especially since you had your EP show last night, the release show. What are some of your favorite, your best, and even if you want to share worst moments just from shows in your 7-month lifetime in playing in this capacity?
Well, I have something to say about last night.
Yeah, so we both have something to say about
Oh,
last
no.
night.
Yeah, so
Oh no! Oh yes!
one thing that I find really hard with my career right now is that growing up, all I played was covers. Like it was like what you did
Through School of
Went
Rock.
to like School of Rock. It was my job as an early musician to play covers, and I got paid for it a lot. So cover bands make more money and whatnot. I got really tired of it like right away. I played every song you can imagine 500 times. Like it got so to the point where I never want to play. I only want to play original music forever. And
I came along.
I really love changing. If you're gonna play a cover, like changing it a lot to your style. That's my favorite. If you're gonna do a cover, do it right. Like actually cover it. Don't tribute it, cover it.
Don't just like recreate the old
Yeah.
song with worse recording or
There's
something.
a tribute, and then a tribute is where you play it exactly the same way, no difference. And then there's a cover where you cover it. You know,
Right.
you do a different version of it.
Reinvent it, yeah.
And I didn't have like a ton of energy last night because I wake up at 4:00 a.m. every day to go to work. I'm a carpenter, and it was like ridiculous last night. I was so tired, and we had worked on this cover for Paramore, and I really didn't want to play it. And I was
What
like,
song? If I
I
may
should
ask?
have listened to you. That's what you get.
Yeah,
That's-
Paramore.
oh, yeah.
Now, instantly, we all looked at each other as we playing like the first verse, and I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh man!" I looked at both of you. I was like, "This is not going well."
I
We
was
didn't practice
zoning
it
out.
for very long.
Yeah.
One thing like what you said with changing it. That's why I wanted to cover songs. We ended up not doing this a lot, but the first cover we ever did was Hotline Bling, and we made it punky.
it was
and,
good.
Dope.
and it was cool.
It was
Yeah,
really
Yeah,
good.
it was fun, and yeah, that's one where we took like a hip hop song and put it in our punk style, sped it up by 20 BPM. There you go, and then we covered. People really liked the Rage, "Killing in the Name"
That was
cover.
good
Oh,
the first time.
sweet.
It was really fun the first time. People still loved it at the Como Backdoor
Yeah.
show, but we've retired that. It's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we were like, all right, let's do "Build This Pool" by Blink, and then let's do the Paramore one. We cut the "Build This Pool" thing.
Well, it was like a 20-second song, right?
20-second
Yeah.
song, yeah. We should have, looking back, we should have just done that last night and not.
Yeah,
done
because
the
it would have
Paramore.
worked. Because
Should've-
Seamus's band, Disaster Kid,
Yes.
played the theme song for Drake and Josh, and then for that '70s show as
Yeah,
well.
they did two.
and it was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was really good.
Yeah, so we should have just done "Built This Pool,"
Mhm.
but yeah,
and
we're-
those are both like 20 seconds. Too.
I think
Yeah.
It's
I
like-
think moving forward, we're definitely gonna change. Grabbing covers from outside of our genre and putting them in our genre instead
Yeah,
of
we
like
have
Hotline
to,
Bling, because
like-
those are a lot more fun.
More challenging.
I
just
really
like
want to cover
figuring it
"Sugar
out.
We're Going Down" at some point, but I don't know if that's ever gonna happen. But worst show experience, I think, was at the Terminal Bar. I love the bands we're playing with, Lapdogs, Alien Blood Club, but
sound.
the sound was horrible.
Oh my
When you couldn't touch the mic because if you touched it, the cord came unplugged. The guy who told me that, the
That kind
audio
of happened
guy.
at Wave Mania last night, not gonna lie.
Really? Yeah, so I touched it and it would shut off, and then Tyler was way shorter than me, so I had
Yeah.
to go over to his and slouch down and start playing and walk across this tiny stage. People were sitting. I just don't like Acadia and places like that. They might be
Yeah.
sitting. Like,
For any like loud show, you probably shouldn't
yeah,
be sitting.
and then there's just some times where we don't fit the bill and people don't know, because before we had the EP release, no one really knew anything besides maybe Kareen
Yeah.
or what they've heard. But
if they've gone to other shows, yeah.
yeah, sometimes we'll get paired with like some slower, indie bands, and then it's that crowd, and then we're playing, and I'm like, oh man. But generally, everyone's really receptive. I
Yeah.
mean, like Harris said earlier, everyone kind of likes. We kind of know what they like, and
it's the venue. It's not them either. It's
Yeah.
like
True.
if there are chairs, people want to sit
yeah,
down
exactly.
and drink.
I'm not
They
Yeah.
don't want
faulting
to,
them for
like-
that, but
No.
Yeah.
yeah, we always have people who come out who are our friends who know the deal. So I'm trying to think of what best show experience was actually probably last night.
Last night was great.
To be honest,
Last night was great.
and our first show, Wave Mania, kind of seeing
Yeah.
and fielding the.
I didn't drink.
response.
I didn't drink any beer.
Yes, that's
or
always
any
a good don't
alcohol,
drink.
so I was on time.
Yeah,
which is
I haven't
great.
drank.
I get
so-
sloppy when I drink too much, and that was like kind of my method for a while. Was
Yes.
Plastered Rabbit. It's like you get sloshed, and then
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
play drums. And
I always
entertaining.
play sober. I can't do it. I can't do anything else, because even just to take the edge off, it's no way. I'm a lightweight. So
Yeah.
best show experience was probably last night. People were insane.
It was crazy.
It was really fun. The first show at Wave was amazing. I'm glad I got to this point, because there was a time in Fox Theater where I'm like, oh, I remember all of our last 3 shows, and now I don't even remember how many we've played, which is an awesome feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, worst, Terminal Bar, sound problems, people staring at you sitting, and yeah. Best one was probably last night at Row House.
I mean, there
That's
was this
awesome.
one show that we played out in the middle of nowhere in Wisconsin, and nobody came, but we got paid a lot for it.
Oh.
And it was
Yeah,
like
that was
that
weird.
kind of justifies
like
it
an
a little
old
bit.
guy was sitting in the corner. It was like a coffee shop bar, and
There
then
was
there was like this
one,
young
Grant.
woman who walked out right away when we started playing.
Very confused.
We
booking
played in
agent.
Mahominy. I think it's Mahominy, Wisconsin,
Yeah.
at Raw Deal.
Menominee, yeah.
Yeah.
It's only like a
Menominee,
half
yeah.
hour or so away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
The older guy stood up at the end and was like, "You guys rock."
Yeah.
That
That was just us.
Man.
There's no opening band, no band after us. We came there, we played for 20 minutes, and then they gave us like $100.
And then these other people who were there, who worked there, who booked us, were like, "Hey, do you want to play a rock show across like the street?" Or
There was a
something?"
house
Like,
show down the street
yeah,
in
just
Wisconsin.
down the street.
They're like,
Yeah.
come play. We're like, all right, we're already here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We pull up, and it was just super weird. And we would have probably had
Ooh.
to wait to go on for a while,
Yeah,
so
for
we
a while.
walked in and walked out.
Oh, rip.
But yeah, I forgot about that one. No
That's
one
so
saw us
funny.
besides 2 people at
Yeah.
that show, but it was
That's
it
hilarious.
was fun to play
It
out
was
of
worth the
state.
gas money.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
got paid
It
go
for
just-
on a
stuff.
if
little,
You're gonna
uh,
drive like that half hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to go on a little road trip. We want to do a little I almost just said Midwest emo tour. We want to do a little Midwest tour at some point, like
Yeah.
a little weekender type deal, which
Yeah.
we might do with the band we played with last night from Chicago. But
Oh,
I
yeah, that'd be
love
cool.
Disaster Kid. Disaster Kid.
disaster.
You can't hear him, but he's wearing the merch.
Can you hear my shirt? It
Some
says
ASMR
Disaster
just-
Kid. on it.
The last question I was like hitting local bands with is, what are some of your favorite local releases? Just spreading the love, shouting out friends and other talented bands that, whether you've played shows with them or not, just
Man.
giving people recommendations
On the
or-
spot, yeah.
Yeah, you take a minute to check your Spotify. People
Yeah,
always
no,
do
that's
that.
the thing, is because it's like
Uh,
I think about this every day, and then it's like, oh,
I think I've got
now I
mine.
have to.
Sweet.
I like Why Not a lot.
Oh,
Why
for sure.
not?
killer.
Marie Finch.
Do they have any recorded stuff out? Because I just kind of found out about them.
They don't have anything out, but you know, it's obviously 3/5 of Early Eyes.
Yeah.
And it's Joe's direction is it's kind of like drop D. It's very like it's kind of similar to what we play too. Our newer stuff. It's pretty emo,
Emo,
and
okay.
it's very good. And Joe's a great singer and an insane guitarist. So
Yeah.
it's been cool hanging with them and learning a lot of different things. But
Mm-hmm.
I like them a lot. I like Vile a lot. I like.
So good.
I'm biased, but I like Lapdogs stuff.
Do
And
you?
they're songs that they didn't release off the EP we worked on.
Yeah.
Insane. I hope they get to them.
Mhm.
Yeah. Or at least like put it somewhere else in like SoundCloud.
Yeah, I was like mixing it for fun a couple weeks ago, and I was like, "Oh, you guys should really release this."
Just put it on Bandcamp. Get a
Yeah,
couple bucks.
They
from it, maybe?
actually just released an acoustic video. That's
I
amazing.
saw the video. Yeah.
It's very good.
Yeah.
Let's see who else. I'm trying to think in the local sphere. I'm gonna check. Will you say
Yeah,
something?
some of our neighbors at the studio, or our old neighbors, I guess, because a lot of them have moved out, that were really good and just dropped some really good music. It include Sean Ratliff,
Okay.
dropped some really good, super chill tracks. He raps. It's more like spoken word almost
Okay.
to an extent. It's really, really
Oh yeah.
inspiring stuff. And then Adam, he goes by Adding Up the Bomb or something like that, or Adman. They were all part of this group called Madcapped, and they were just so active. Like they would drop something every week, like
Wow.
hardcore. And then Kendon Peters drops something every day, and he's probably the greatest rapper in Minnesota right now, and he's just very underrated. He's a very strong personality. A lot of people, like he'll come in and just start freestyle rapping and rap about everything in the room, and you're just like, whoa, like what's going on? Like,
yeah,
it's
I
kind of a spectacle, but he's got some good stuff too.
I had to look, but I got mine.
Okay.
Heart to Gold,
Yeah.
obviously.
Obviously.
Yeah, I love Grant. Grant and I skate somewhat still. I'm getting back into that. And then Grandma, Unturned, and
Yeah.
kind of more like the, heavier
The
emo,
more emo side, I
bands.
think,
Yeah. I would say them for sure. And then there's a band from Chicago who I saw at Row House once that just blew me away called Bottom Bracket.
Oh yeah,
They're
there's a
so
band I've
good.
played with Plastered Rabbit, called Summer Like the Season.
Okay.
And they blew me away. It's two girls and a guy, and the drummer, she actually sings while she plays the drums.
That's always
And
so dope.
she's
Code Orange.
she's
Yeah.
a fantastic drummer, like fantastic, and a fantastic singer, and she
Does both,
executes
yeah.
so well.
Shoot, that's
The
insane.
guitarist also does backup vocals
Yeah.
while she's playing guitar, and it's so incredible. And then the dude plays electric violin while playing synth, and sometimes uses a vocoder. And he's nuts. All of them combined, it was like so solid, clean. I was impressed. It sounded like a recording.
Yeah. The band name is Summer Like the Season?
Summer Like the Season.
Okay.
Yeah,
that was the full
Summer
name.
Like the Season, yeah.
Yeah, I'm into metal a lot too. So local bands metal wise, like there's like Gadget. I like Grainier a lot too, and then In Search of Solace.
Yeah.
Metal band from here. It's really good.
Yeah, cool. Well, that's pretty much it. I love hearing what people love, and you guys had some more unique picks.
Yeah.
Usually people are like, oh, we love Gully Boys, we love like Rainbow Diamond. Like obviously they're amazing, but love just spreading that sphere of influence even wider.
And Alien Book Club. Sorry, I can't.
Oh
forget
yeah, they
them.
just put out a split.
Yes.
I have not listened to it with Shattercones.
Did it come out?
It came out like last week. I think
Okay.
late. Because like Floodwater Angel was like anger tweeting at them. They're like, "Where's the split?
Oh,
Put
I
it
see.
out!"
Yeah, I recorded that split.
Oh, honestly?
So yeah,
Oh, that's so cool.
yeah. I've been working on that I've heard those songs a million times, but I love them. They're so underrated.
And
Yeah.
keep track of Majula, because we're going to put out some really groovy stuff soon.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
maybe record it to tape, which we're excited about.
Oh,
Archaic.
So, not sure yet, but
sweet. Well, thank you so much for
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for
having us
stopping
on.
by.
This has
Thanks
been
for-
really
appreciate
cool.
it. Happy to be here.
The Ear Coffee Podcast is a companion to the blog of the same name. If you like this episode, please leave us a rate and review so we can stand out among the other music podcasts. You can follow us at Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram @EarCoffee. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.